life in South Africa, particularly in areas affected by gangs and crime, can be challenging. While the country has beautiful landscapes, a rich cultural history, and many opportunities, certain regions face significant issues with crime, including gang violence, especially in poorer communities or areas with high unemployment. Now, during a recent interview with Mike Perry on the Overdogs podcast, UFC middleweight champion Dricus du Plessis shared some details about life in South Africa.
Did growing up in Africa really teach you, like a survival type? How do you switch it on
absolutely.
When you get into
Absolutely. Religion, but you can't live your whole life being ready to kill. In that switch you learn, I think that's what we have. That switch can happen like this.
It's official. The main and co-main event fighters for UFC 312 all weighed in successfully on championship weight on early Friday. UFC Women's Strawweight champion Weili weighed in at 115 pounds and ready to defend her title against #1 contender Tatiana Suarez. After the official weigh-ins, Weili shared a behind-the-scenes video on Instagram, giving fans a glimpse of her weight cut process and the celebration that followed after hitting the 115-pound limit.
Okay, yeah, you're
What's up?
Good job.
自己完成了。
牛姐。
A recent sparring incident has brought former UFC star Kevin Lee back into the spotlight after a video of him getting knocked down during training went viral. Now, Kevin took to social media to address the situation. He also revealed that he had tracked down the person who posted the video and had him banned from the gym.
All right, let me just address this once and leave it at that. A lot of people been calling, and first of all, I'm fine. This is martial arts training. I've been training martial arts for 15 years. I can tell you how many times I've seen people get knocked out, submitted, arms broken, cut up. This is what we do. And I'm gonna try and maintain my integrity, even though it pissed me the off, I ain't gonna lie to you.
UFC fighter Lucas Alexander has revealed he was hospitalized due to paint fumes at the UFC Saudi Arabia event. Last weekend, Alexander entered the octagon to fight Bogdan Grad, who won the bout with a second-round finish. However, there was much more to the story than just the fight. Like several other fighters on the card, Alexander experienced issues from the strong paint fumes in the changing rooms. This has been a topic of discussion since fight night, with many athletes noting things didn't quite feel right. Alexander recently took to Instagram to explain what happened. He wrote, "On Saturday, we arrived at the locker rooms around 2:30 p.m. and there was a really strong smell of paint fumes with seemingly no air circulation throughout the room. The ones close to me know I suffer with severe sinus issues when it comes to different smells and seasonal allergies. For 3 hours, I felt dizzy, had low energy, and felt like I could fall asleep any minute. By the time I was supposed to warm up, I could tell I was super flat. I did what I could regardless of the situation. After the fight, I was taken to the hospital due to shortness of breath, and over the next several hours couldn't stop a runny nose, sneezing, coughing, and wheezing. I have videos from hours after the fight where my voice was gone, my nose is stuffed closed, and I felt sick. After not sleeping the whole night, I went back to the hospital the next morning and received a breathing treatment with cortisol to open my lungs and sent home with an inhaler to use multiple times a day." It's very well established by now that Alex Pereira is a bona fide superstar in the UFC. Despite barely speaking English, Pereira has built a cult following and turned his iconic chant, Chama, into a powerful brand. Recently, the UFC light heavyweight champion shared a video from a meet and greet in
Próximo que fazer ganha. Quem aceitar ganha.
Isso fica legal.
Caralho, você gastou ali, mano.
Michael Bisping and Daniel Cormier almost ended up battling it out in a cage after an argument nearly escalated past a point of return. During the UFC 312 weigh-in show, the panel, which included Bisping, Cormier, and former featherweight champ Alexander Volkanovski, was about which weapon they would prefer to use in a fight. Chong Weili's precision striking or Tatiana Suarez's wrestling and grappling. Bisping said precision striking all day and Volkanovski agreed, while Cormier was on the other side of things.
But if you get a guy like me on their leg, I'm going to move him in so many different directions that eventually I'm going to get ahead of him. And then we'll never catch up.
So you fight against the fence.
And that's what I was going to say, the fence
nothing like
in the cage.
actual wrestling
on.
That's what I mean by
a
small
mat.
part of
All
wrestling.
you
It
have to
doesn't
do.
exist. Like Callum is a way better wrestler than me.
So if Drink
Single leg, I could stop you, DC. Oh, I could stop.
We've
you,
got enough
DC.
space here.
No, get a cage. There's an octagon right there.
Take your picks.
We're not going to do that right now.
Bad neck and all.
So
I'm telling you,
if Drink
I
is
fucking stop that
Duplessis,
shit, Bubble.
if
Sorry.
Drink.